What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And I know I haven't made a video in quite a while, and no, this is not going to be Giants news. If you guys really want me to do a preview on the 49ers game, I will. I'll probably get it out on Saturday if you guys really want to see that. But anyway, I want to talk about the New Orleans Saints and how probably they can probably make a Super Bowl run. Can they make a Super Bowl run? I just want to bring in some more NFL talk into this channel. So I'm going to start off with this. The New Orleans Saints, can they make a Super Bowl run representing the NFC in the Super Bowl? You know, I'm pulling for it. Drew Brees is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. He's the NFL's leading passer in history, and he's still overshadowed by the likes of Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady's, and where he ranks all time, and people say Brett Favre was better than him, and all these other guys, Joe Montana and things like that, because he doesn't have rings to show for it. He went to won that one Super Bowl, but consistently he's been the best quarterback statistically almost every single year. He's a consistent 4 to 5,000 yard quarterback. But this is not just about Drew Brees. We're talking about the New Orleans Saints as a whole. They do have a balanced team. I wouldn't say it's as balanced as, let's say, the Los Angeles Rams, but they're having some defensive problems. I do like their roster on paper more than I do the Saints, but the Saints are just getting it done. As far as offensively, they are really on the charts. We look at their offensive stats. They're scoring 34.9 points a game. That's just about 35 points a game. I mean, that's something that the Giants can't even reach 30 points in one game. So props to the New Orleans Saints averaging that much points. 35 points a game. That's second place. I think first is the Chiefs. They're putting up 402 yards per game, 290 passing, and 112 rushing. 7th in the league in passing, 15th in the league in rushing, respectively, and 7th in the league in total yardage. So they're just about top 10 in every category for the offensive stats. Besides the rushing, and their rushing isn't that bad. 112 per game is not terrible. It's still 15th in the league. Just because I think teams are starting to appreciate running backs more. Ever since Todd Gurley, your Saquon Barkley's, your Kareem Hunts came in the league, everybody's starting to appreciate running backs more, so they're starting to utilize them more. So yeah, we're seeing more running yards on these guys. And on top of that, you can't even tackle in this league anymore, so running backs are getting a lot more yards. So that's why I don't think 112 yards per game is that bad. So 15th in the league looks a little bad on paper, but it's fine. Offensively, they are amazing. I mean, they never miss a beat. Sure, their wide receivers aren't as good as you really want them to. Michael Thomas is probably the only good guy out of there. Cameron Meredith just recently got put on IR, but they just recently signed Des Bryant. That's something I wanted to talk about. That's something which ultimately led me to creating this video, is the signing of Des Bryant. They're making the New Orleans Saints are starting to make championship type moves. They're making little moves here and there. They're not signing franchise guys. They're not signing guys that's going to stay with them for the long run. They're signing guys for the short-term deals. They traded for Eli Apple. Eli Apple is not a franchise corner. He's not going to be around much longer in the NFL, but his services are needed to win a Super Bowl because their cornerbacks are just completely trash, and they got him for a relatively good price, I would say. 4th round pick and a 7th round pick, I think. And then, they went out and got Des Bryant for like under $2 million. You're getting a guy in Des Bryant who, let's see what he does. I don't know if he's going to be playing this Sunday, or I don't know if the Saints are on bye. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. But let's see if he plays soon. I'm waiting to see what happens. I wanted Des. I don't like Des when he's on the Cowboys, but I want him to at least get a job somewhere. It's crazy how all these trash receivers get jobs, but not Des Bryant. So I'm happy to see what Des Bryant brings to the Saints right now. Sparking the offense. He's not coming in and being a number 1 wide receiver like he would have done in other places. He's coming in and being a number 2 guy, with Des Bryant being a number 2 guy and number 1 being Mike Thomas, who is lighting up in the league right now. I mean, the Saints do not miss Brandon Cooks whatsoever. That's pretty much why the reason they traded Brandon Cooks, because they have a star wide receiver, Mike Thomas. Just think about it for a second. The Giants could have had Odell Beckham and Mike Thomas. We drafted Sterling Shepard ahead of Mike Thomas. Just saying. But anyway, let's look at the reason why the Saints, and this is the reason why it's holding me back from really considering the Saints as a Super Bowl team. I think they're a really great playoff team. I think they're an NFC Championship type team, and if they make the Super Bowl, I think they're really going to struggle. We've seen that in years past. You know, when you have a bad defense, it's really hard to win the Super Bowl. You look at I mean, the New England Patriots last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense was not that good, and they got lit up by the Philadelphia. Where they scored 41 points on the New England Patriots. I don't know where they ranked statistically, but I knew the Patriots weren't. They were giving up a lot of points last year. And then you look at the Atlanta Falcons, coincidentally against the New England Patriots, where the Atlanta Falcons gave up a 28-3 lead. You know, their defense just completely got gassed out, and they couldn't do it anymore. You have to have a good defense to win a Super Bowl in these leagues now. Your offense can't be the only thing that drives you, and that seems to be what the New Orleans Saints really does. And that's, you know, they're still up there as my Super Bowl team. You know, I still consider Minnesota to be probably the best. And I know their record doesn't really say it. I don't think they have a better record than as good a record as the Saints. But I just think they just have a more balanced team. Their team is just ready to win in the playoffs. The Saints have a very good offense, and this is no disrespect against the Saints because I'm really pulling for them to make the Super Bowl and win it just for Drew Brees. But we have to look at the reason why they're struggling. They're putting up a lot of points, but they're struggling to finish games because the defense is just terrible. 27th in the league in giving up points. They're giving up 27 points a game. They're giving up almost 30 points a game. That's not unacceptable. They're giving up 387 yards total. That's 25th in the league. 311 yards passing alone. That's 31st in the league. The only thing they have going for them is that they are the best run-stuffing league in the NFL with 76.4 yards per game they are allowing. That is number one in the league. That's the only thing going for them. That's why I consider their defense just a tad bit better than the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams are pretty much struggling all around the board against the pass, which is kind of weird because they got guys like Marcus Peters back there and other guys like that. And then you got on the ground, they're struggling on the ground, the Los Angeles Rams. They got Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald back there, and a guy like Michael Brockers and players like that, and they still can't stop the run, which is kind of a dilemma, just a weird dilemma for me. I can't wrap my head around that. But the Saints are doing something right, and that's stopping the run. They really need to focus on stopping the pass. Marshawn Lattimore is good. He's had some times. He's had some sophomore slump times. He's got burned a couple times. I've seen it. New Orleans Saints fans, you know it as well. Marshawn Lattimore got burnt a couple times. But then everybody's talking about how the whole Ohio State thing is like coming together in New Orleans. That this is somehow going to make the pass defense a lot better. Bringing in Eli Apple, who's a Ohio State alumni. Marshawn Lattimore, they played with each other for a couple years. And then you got Von Bell back there. And then you got a couple other guys. It doesn't matter if you went to college together. Sure, you got the chemistry. Listen, Marshawn Lattimore and Eli Apple are playing on totally opposite sides of the field. They have no congruence whatsoever. They're not playing with each other. They have their own assignments. They're not doing anything with each other. The only thing is that they have the chemistry. They know what each other is gonna do and how each other is gonna play. But unless they cross fields, it's really not gonna matter. At that point, you guys saw it against the Los Angeles Rams. How many passes did Eli Apple give up? That's the only reason why the Rams were in that game is because of Eli Apple. He was allowing them to move down the field with ease. Whenever, Jared Goff had time, Eli Apple was giving up plays, and that's who you traded for. That's who you guys thought was going to fix this defense, and Eli Apple was nothing more than a number two, a backup outside a backup outside slot corner. He's not even a slot cornerback. He can't cover in the slot. He's supposed to be this man cover corner, this great man press corner, but he's raw. He has raw talent. Sure, he's long, he's lengthy, he's fast, he's quick, but he has one career interception in the league against Ben Roethlisberger. He does not have any awareness. He has about as much awareness as a real life Apple. That's why they call him Eli Apple. He has enough, just about the same awareness as an apple. This guy can't track the ball. down the field. He can track the ball in the air. He's a bad tackler. He's not the greatest tackler. Sure, I've seen some flashes from Eli Apple against the run where he's actually made some plays. But against the pass, whenever the quarterback has more than 3 seconds to throw, any wide receiver, I don't care if you have terrible route running or terrible speed, you're going to get a pass on Eli Apple. It just happens. If you scramble a little bit, he's not going to know where you are. He's just going to be like, oh, wow, a bird, So he has zero awareness whatsoever. And that's good. That's going to keep the New Orleans Saints from coming back. It's from getting a Super Bowl win here. And New Orleans Saints fans, you should be scared because you have a really good team around you. You got a lot of young guys and you have a lot of experienced guys. I love the New Orleans Saints roster because of the fact is you have the perfect balance of veteran leadership and young guys to make plays. You look at the veterans. You look at Drew Brees. You look at a couple of linebackers on there, A.J. Klein and players like that. And then you look at Cameron Jordan, who is a top-tier pass rusher in this league that's very overshadowed by a lot of other pass rushers, but I think he's still a really good pass rusher in this league. You have like Terron Armstead, who's one of the better tackles in the league. And you got a lot of veteran leadership there. And you got a lot of young guys coming in the league. You look at Mike Thomas, who's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Alvin Kamara, one of the best running backs in the NFL. Ryan Ramczyk, a lot of people didn't like the pick, back in the 2017 draft, I believe, where he was picked, I believe, 31st overall by the Saints. The Saints came back and got him. They came back in the draft in the first round and got him, and he's looking to be a really good right tackle right now. Another young guy. You look at a young pass rusher in Marcus Davenport, which the Saints gave up a lot of picks to try to go get in this year's draft, the rookie pass rusher out of UTSA, I believe. You got Marshawn Lattimore. You got P.J. Williams, who's on and off. You don't know if P.J. Williams wants to be good or P.J. Williams wants to be bad. You don't really know. And so you got a lot of young guys. You got a lot of veteran leadership. I really like the Saints roster. It's just the problem has been for a long time. It's like dating back to like 2013. Probably even more than that. The secondary has always been bad. It doesn't matter who you put back there. Marshawn Lattimore is a really good cornerback. But, it's not looking like it because look at the stats right now. I mean, they're stopping the run really good, really great. You look at another young guy, Sheldon Rankins, who's a big part of why they're stopping the run. Marcus Davenport, Cameron Jordan, that line is getting a lot better because they built that line through the draft. Because that line wasn't that good. I mean, Cameron Jordan was the only bright spot of that line. Now they're starting to work on those linebackers a little bit more. The linebackers starting to look good a little bit. So they're starting to build up. The defensive line is pretty good in my opinion. I rated a B+. The linebackers are getting there. It's like a C+. And the secondary is like a C-. So it's not there at the D. It's not really D. It's just that I'm not liking their secondary. And it's really going to make an impact in the playoffs. I think they could win their playoff games. I think they're probably going to be the second seed, if not the first seed. We'll see what happens with the Rams and the Saints. They're pretty much the only guys competing for that number 1 seed right now, unless the Minnesota Vikings make a huge run. But that's pretty much the only teams I see right now potentially making a run. The NFC East is trash. The NFC South, besides the Saints, is not really that good. The Carolina Panthers got demolished. The Atlanta Falcons are on and off. So, we'll see what happens in the NFC North. Green Bay, they're going to make the playoffs, but who knows where they're going to be at. Then you got Minnesota, and that's pretty much the only guys competing right there. So it's Minnesota, the Rams, and the Saints. I think the Saints will probably end up getting the number 1 seed, so they'll get the first week bye, the wild card bye. And we'll see where they go from there. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Any Saints fans, go ahead. We'll start a discussion. I am rooting for you guys. My Giants are unfortunately not going to be a part of the playoff race. Not going to be part of the playoff race anytime soon. Best of luck to Eli Apple. Hopefully he gets something going and plays better. But the Saints really need to fix that secondary. That's literally the reason why it's going to keep them out of a Super Bowl win. I promise you. They got everything else right. They got a great running game. They got a great passing game. They got a decent offensive line, I'd say. One of the best quarterbacks to ever live. They have a nice defensive line, a decent linebacking core. Their secondary is just not good. They have a number 1 cornerback. That's pretty much all they got. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if any other topics you guys want me to talk about. I will definitely try to put out a video every day if you guys want me to about any topics about the NFL. Just leave your topics in the comment section below, and I will read them off. I'll even put your username in there. I'm just looking for anything to talk about at this point. So leave a like if you guys like the video. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.